If you know the tea, you know the tea. If you don't know the tea, you don't know the tea. But if you do know the tea, welcome to my channel, I guess, again.
We don't take no L.
What's up? It's DeMarco, and I don't know what's been going on. Not gonna lie. Life be lifing. And to say the least, that's what's been taking me so long to even produce this video. I've been wanting to come back to YouTube in such a grand way, and I never really knew how to do it, but I just really need to sit down in front of the fucking camera and just talk. I've been away off of YouTube for a very, very, very long time. So buckle up because I'm really finna get started right now and I'm just finna go. I don't know what this episode is going to entail. I just know that it's my first one and I just need to stop being scared and do it. Back in 2017, 2018, I had a YouTube channel called Tiggy Tigs. And it's still the same channel. So if you want to go watch one of the videos, I got a couple of reaction videos left or whatever the case may be. But I knew my way in coming back to YouTube was it had to be something completely different than what I was doing before. Why? Because I wanted to do music. I wanted to switch it up only because critiquing other people's music and then doing music, it don't really go hand in hand if I'm keeping it a bean. And honestly, like, I'm an artist. I'm sensitive about my shit. So why would I want to sit here and continue to critique other people's music? Don't get me wrong. I still got my faves. I still, do my little 1-2 on the side with my friends. But for me to want to be an artist, I actually had to differentiate the two. So this is just really me, again, starting over on a whim. And yeah. I started YouTube just because I was in the space of being carefree. I didn't really have like anything stopping me in life. I just knew I wanted to do something different and I wanted to leave my stamp on the world. So I was like, what other way than YouTube? So I started the whole reaction videos, did that, and then boom. This is where life started to life. I got in a relationship in 2018, and if you know the tea, you know the tea. If you don't know the tea, you don't know the tea. But if you do know the tea, you can put two and two together. Y'all can figure it out later on. Maybe I'll do a Q&A. I don't know. At the start of that relationship, of course, everything is always good. You know, the honeymoon phase is lovely. I am a lover boy. So, like, I love down. No cap. And in this relationship, I didn't really necessarily think about anything because it was my first relationship in so long, because my last one before that was, I want to say 2015, 2014, one of the two. But needless to say, I got in a relationship and me and him obviously did not work out. I got to a point in a relationship to where I was very unhappy. I was very just like walking around on eggshells. And that's not how you're supposed to be in a relationship. The relationship got really, really comfortable. And this relationship went into COVID. And so going into COVID, it was more so just me really realizing that I lost myself. I tried to come back to YouTube numerous times. I got videos of me singing. I got videos of me trying to do just different things. And while I started this whole process of me trying to figure out how to come back to YouTube, I curated a labor of love, which is my project, which I'll get to a little bit later. But in relationships, you don't really know how to love a person within the first 4 or 5 months. And honestly and truly, I wish gay people would know that. Everybody should know that, but I feel like gay people have it worse because they fall in love fast. And I don't even want to box gay people in, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, you literally meet somebody, next thing you know, y'all in y'all honeymoon phase. It's just la di da di da, and then boom, y'all in a relationship and y'all move in with each other. And see me, I'm a move inner. I will move in with you 2-3 months in. Well, maybe not 2-3 months in, but maybe 6 months. But in gay years, 6 months in gay years, I swear it's like 3 years already. Moved in, and then like I said, that's when everything just started to, dwindle down. And then I started to figure out, like I said, how can I come back to YouTube? How can I reintroduce myself? Because I stopped doing YouTube because he did not want to do YouTube. And I'm the type of person, I'm like, oh, okay, as a partner, what do you want to do? Da, 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 da. No, because you always have to remember that you're your own individual person at the end of the day. It got to a point in the relationship, once I realized that he didn't want to do what I wanted to do, I tried to figure out if there was something that we could do together. And that wasn't nothing but smoking. So that's when I was smoking beforehand, but then that's when I got in that relationship and I was smoking really, really heavy. Now from 2018, obviously COVID started 2019. So this was my COVID relationship. So if you had a COVID relationship, you know how them worked out or it didn't work out. A COVID relationship was something that obviously I didn't know I would ever experience. I didn't know the world was going to shut down. I didn't know I was ever going to experience work from home. Like it was such a dark time for me. I gained hella weight. Like you can't tell, but I was literally almost over 300 pounds or literally like right at 300 pounds because I was eating my feelings. I was, like I said, walking around on eggshells. I was smoking every day. I just really wasn't being my true, authentic self. And as I'm looking back in my old videos, I'm like, who is this person? But that's who I really was. I would look in my old YouTube videos and I would see how lively I was. I would see how, in tune with life I was. I literally have always said, if I would have stayed doing YouTube, I would have been an influencer before influencers were a thing. Point blank, period. Like the content was there, the following was there, everything was there. But I got in a relationship and I let it consume me. Um, so in 2021, that's when we finally just broke it off. We both realized that we were not happy, and again, we were both like comfortable with each other. And when you're comfortable with somebody, you never want to sit there and do anything to hurt that person. Comfortability in a relationship is something that you never want to just adapt to because you're never going to grow. You're never going to evolve. You're never going to see anything from another person's perspective, and they're never going to see anything from your perspective because y'all are so comfortable. Y'all just consume each other. Like, oh, you deal with the bad things. You deal with, all the stuff when really in all actuality, you need to talk about it. But we'll wake that tea up in another conversation. After I realized that, that's when I finally moved out and I went into my own little realm. 2022, I finally got my first apartment. I was happy. And again, I was filming this whole entire time. So if y'all want vlogs and old vlogs and stuff like that, I will literally release it. Let me not even sit here and lie to y'all because I'm not going to go through that content. Just keeping it a bean. But I just never sat down and went through that content because I just still did not feel like I was in a place to where I could come back to YouTube. Got out that relationship, moved into my own apartment, got into another relationship. As you can see, as I stated, I am a lover boy. I love love. I've always wanted to just feel whole with love, I guess you could say. I just always was looking. But no, next relationship, again, if you know, you know, you don't, you don't. Not name dropping, not saying nothing, not, because one thing about it, I'm not the type of person to sit here and badmouth an ex or anybody that I've ever been with, ever talked to. If it didn't work out, it didn't work out. There's no love lost on my end. We just gonna be together. I will say my ex before the last one hates me. So that's neither here nor there. But it's the truth though. That man hate my guts. I moved into my own apartment and then I started talking to somebody else. And then next thing you know, I'm in a relationship 6 months later. Now, mind you, this is years in between. Don't think I just jumped out of one, then got into another one, but it kind of seemed like that. And so at this point in my life, I'm just living, right? I'm living in the moment, just basking in everything. I literally feel like I've met my soulmate. And I will say this, a lot of people it's a very thin line, I guess you could say, between people and like how many soulmates you can have. Child, you can be soulmates to the day you die. Like y'all ever get that feeling where you know somebody, where you feel like you know somebody your whole entire life, but you really just met them like 2-3 days ago? Don't let anybody feel like you only gotta have one soulmate. No, you can do whatever your heart desires. Whatever your heart feels when it comes to another human being, it feels it for that reason. Whether it's a friend, relationship, foe, whatever, it feels it for a reason. But anyway, so got into another relationship, and then that relationship went from 22 all the way to end of 23. Actually, not gonna lie, it just recently, not even recently, but just quite frequently ended. And The reason why it ended, I'm not gonna go into detail, but I would say for me, the reason why it ended is because I realized in this last relationship, I repeated my life. And I know that may sound weird to some, but I repeated the same cycle of living. And I realized I wasn't happy. I was walking around on eggshells, everything like that. And then boom, same thing happened, but in a shorter time frame. And at this point, I woke up. During this whole process of my healing journey, I started therapy. I started journaling more. I started writing, and like I said, that's how I was able to form my baby self motivation stream now. Link in bio somewhere or on my socials. So if you haven't heard it, just go give it a little peep. But
I didn't know you had this hold on me. I didn't know that you would have me feeling lonely. Didn't know we would even live the same life. Didn't know that you wouldn't be.
But I got to a place to where when I was listening to music that I created over, because in the last relationship, I was writing self motivation. Did not know what I was writing it for. Did not know I was curating a body of work, but I was just writing about how I felt at the time because I couldn't communicate it because I was with somebody I they didn't know how to communicate and I didn't know how to communicate. So I'm not even gonna sit here and just say it was just one person. I didn't know how to communicate at the time either. So that's obviously why I was writing the music. So as I'm writing this project, I'm literally sitting here like I have a song called Boxed In and a song called Selfish and like all this stuff. And I'm just like, what am I talking about? But then I get into this next relationship and I'm realizing like, why are these songs hitting now? If 2 + 2 is 4, how are we getting? If you know what I'm saying? Like the math is mathing at this point. And so that's when I had to step outside of myself and realize, like, okay, maybe I'm the problem. Self accountability and self realization is a big thing when you're on a healing journey because the more I'm looking over there, I don't know why, but the more you are accountable for your actions, the more growth and the more healing you will see. And that goes for anybody. So anytime you feel like you repeating the cycle or anytime you feel like you are just doing the same thing over and over again. Oh, hold on. So I got this book called I did a New Thing. Tabitha Brown, thank you. 30 Days to Living Free. And it was in the beginning part of this book. Hold on. She said, remember that old saying, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. Exactly. And that was me. When I realized like I was living my life in the same repeated cycle, I'm like, okay, it gets to a point to where you have to wake up. And so 2023, that's when I woke up. Well, I started to wake up because the one thing about me, I'm gonna give a chance. I'm gonna give a chance. I'm gonna give a try. I don't care. If I love you, I love you. And some people may deem that as toxic, but I try until I cannot try anymore. My project was curated from this whole entire process. So me all the way from 2021 to 2024 when I finally finalized everything. That was me building my project. So it took about 3-4 years to create this. And when I realized I had to really zone in on the self-care and the self-love, therapy became monthly, meditation became daily. Like so many things had to change. I even stopped smoking because I realized I was masking my depression. When you know you are suppressing something, please stop. It is not a good thing to keep enabling a habit. Therapy is something that can help you. And people always sit here and talk about oh, why would I pay somebody to talk to me? I guarantee you, I've been doing it for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, and it has worked. Well, now I'm being dramatic. Not 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but at least 5, 6. And it has worked. Talking to somebody who doesn't know they can't be biased. So all they're doing is hearing you out and helping you assess the situation from a different perspective. What about this? Maybe this. Or why do you think about it like that? Therapy is there to help you. So if you are not in therapy or if you somebody who wants to go to therapy and is scared to try it, this is your sign. Go to therapy. It'll help you, it'll push you, it'll motivate you. And I would not be right here today if it wasn't for my therapist. So shout out to Miss Regina. I appreciate you. But no, like dead serious. Back to the conversation though. And then once I realized, like I said, I had to step outside myself and I was like, okay, I really gotta buckle down and heal. It took me a minute because when I realized that, I was just like, damn, Like, girl, you gotta sit here and isolate yourself. Now, some people may think you isolating yourself is being selfish. Some people may think like, oh, you don't want to talk to me no more. You don't want to text me. Child, I'm going through life. And if you cannot meet me where I'm at, I'm not going to sit here and beg you, because you get to a point in your healing journey where you start to realize, okay, while I'm healing myself, what are you doing? It could be people around you that you think are pouring into you and they're not. Because in your healing journey, you will lose friends, a couple relationships with family members. And again, everything is okay. Everything happens for a reason. Because now, where I'm at now is a completely different mindset than I was in, obviously, when I first started my healing journey. It's all about how you perceive the information and how you take it and how you assess it to adapt to your life. So once I curated my projects, I realized I made this body of work that was just phenomenal to me. I'm not gonna lie. When you are a musician or somebody that's just a creative in general, you can lose yourself a lot because you hear other people's opinions and you hear other people's, thoughts and other stuff. And it's just like, none of that stuff matters when you're creating something for you. And that's what I had to realize. That's why it took my project so long, because I was listening to what they're saying and what he's saying and all this other stuff. And it's just like, I literally had somebody tell me, oh, you need to make more fun music, all this other stuff. And I'm just like, that's not who I am. I'm a lover boy. I want to talk about my emotions. And if it resonates, it resonates. If it don't, it don't. And I know I know my music, like I know this process, I'm going to go down the road of being an artist and develop more and learn different things and all the other stuff. But until it's that time, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do and walk in my purpose. And that's another thing I did too during this healing journey. I definitely built my relationship with God. Building a relationship with God, but in your own way, is very pivotal and important. Creating self-motivation was literally one of the biggest things that I've ever accomplished. Like even from starting YouTube, because that was 2017, 2018. So like I haven't done anything for myself since then. And I realized like, okay, damn, like how am I going to embody all of this in one project? Child, I sat down, I got on YouTube, I looked up some type beat, I got to writing. I literally wrote my whole entire life. I was literally talking to myself, and I didn't realize that until I lived with it, because I was writing, like I said, I wrote this project over a span 3-4 years. And as I'm listening to this project over the years that I'm like, creating it, and as I'm finalizing everything, I'm like, wow, this is really a solid body of work. No, I don't plan on blowing up overnight. I have hope. I have, faith that whenever my time is for me to make it, I'll do it. But this is right now, and this is where I need to live. And I still struggle today with a little bit of self-doubt and beating myself up. And my project is out to the world. And that's what I need to give myself grace for. I did something big that a lot of people can't even say that they did. And that's no shade to nobody, but it's just like, for me, coming from all the stuff that I've been through to now, it's just like, wow, like pat on the back, bitch. Like, like you did it. Like on my soul, because healing is an everyday thing. It's not something that you will ever just get to a stopping point and just be like, oh, I'm healed. And if you do, girl, question mark. Cause, but, but I just wanted to make this video to say, I miss you guys. And if you've been supporting me, and if you've been rocking with me, and if you stream my project, I really, really do appreciate it. So much is on the way. So much is coming. And I'm going to continue to just stay consistent. This is me making a promise to myself, but also putting out there that anything you put your mind to, anything you put your heart to, your soul, whatever, you can do it. Do not let anybody try to talk you off the ledge. Do not let anybody try to talk you off of something that you've been wanting to do for a very long time. Don't let any critiques, any negativity, anything stop you from achieving the things that you want to achieve. So this is me leaving my little stamp. I'm gonna leave this video right here because this is really just supposed to be like an introduction, but I appreciate y'all, and yeah, welcome to my channel, I guess, again. But I love you, and if you haven't heard it today, just know I love you and I care about you. So bye, bitch.